Okay, so for this assignment, we're gonna go over the tilt shift effect. So tilt shift is actually a type of lens that you can use on the camera, but with the power of Photoshop, we can actually uh, put that effect on the photograph. So what tilt shift effect does is that the photograph itself, it looks like a miniature model. Um, so you will have to choose one photograph. I just need one photograph handed in. You can either take your own photograph or choose your own photograph from the albums, previous albums, or choose an online photo. So as long as make sure that the image is showing high angle, so looking down point of view with a deep depth of field. Deep depth of field will be from the foreground to the background, the distance between uh, within the photograph, and at least one big object like this, or lots of objects with like in this photograph here. Okay, so online, if you Google public space or public place or public area, you'll find a lot of images to work with. So for me, I've just typed in public places and I chose this image here, which is a good image. It's a looking down point of view. What I'm gonna do is right click and save image as, and save within the folder. I've created a new folder called tilt shift effect, tilt shift, and then you're just gonna save that image here. I'm just gonna replace my previous image, and there we go. We're gonna move on to Photoshop and open up your image. So I've already opened it, but I'll just open a new one. File, open, and click on the image, and it should load up right here. Okay. So to start, we're going to duplicate the layer because we cannot edit this layer because it has a lock on it. And when you open an image, they always have a lock for the first background. Okay, so just right click on it, duplicate layer, and just press OK. Then you'll notice that this layer doesn't have a lock on the layer. So click on the layer and click on create layer mask or add layer mask, and you should get a little white layer that's linked to the photograph. You guys already have played with this under activity 1, selective color. Same thing, black is what you want to keep within this photograph. White, whatever effect is going to be applied, white is going to change this photograph. So black is what you're going to keep. Okay. So after you've made this, make sure that layer mask is selected. So you see how the white rectangle is moving from left to right. Make sure that this selection box is on the white rectangle. Then go to the gradient tool. So gradient tool, if you can't find this tool, it might be under paint bucket tool. Okay, gradient tool, and on here, make sure this one is selected, foreground to background. So just black to white instead of the black to transparent, black to white. Okay, and make sure that this color here is black and white. Okay, if it's a different color, just double click on it, drag the round button here into the corner, then press OK. Okay, afterwards, make sure that reflected gradient is selected. Right, then we're just gonna simply well, we first have to decide what part of the photograph will be the focus of tilt shift effect. So for me, I'm going to choose where the umbrella is toward the people. Okay, so it will get the umbrella and also the car as well. So around this line. So I'm gonna just click on the umbrella, press down Shift for a straight line, and drag all the way down and let go. Okay, so on the photograph itself, it didn't make any effect, but if you see the mask layer, you'll see that there's a gradient effect going on. So the black is what I want to keep, so it's around this area, right? And white is going to be changed. So make sure that this layer is now selected. Okay, after you've drawn the gradient, you're going to select the photograph layer, go to filter, blur, and lens blur. Right, from here, it's a lot of playing with the with these effects. So you can kind of see already that it's got a little bit of miniaturized kind of effect going. If you move the radius, you're just gonna change the blurriness of the effect, right? I kind of like this one here. You'll have to play around with all of these. For some reason, if you can't see this effect going, you might be under none. If it's under none, you see that how it's affecting the whole photograph. We don't want that. We want the source to be layer mask. Okay, so it's actually noticing the layer mask. It's noticing where the black pixels are and where the gray pixels are, and it's affecting the transparency of this effect. Okay, so after you've chosen it, just press OK. It's gonna take a little bit long. It depends also on the image size as well and the computer power. School computer might take a little longer. Okay, so you'll have this layer image here. Okay, you can kind of see the difference by clicking on the eyeball, right? Say you don't like this effect that's going on, you'll have to go back to the layer mask, right? Select on this, select on the gradient tool, make sure it's black and white and reflected, right? And you're just gonna drag another line through it, right? And we're going to apply it again. Okay, so after that, we're gonna click on the photograph, filter, lens blur. Or actually, okay, you can do that as well, but it's going to use the same setting that you've used for the previous lens blur that you've done if you go it this way. If you don't go by like blur and lens blur, and if you click on this, that's what's going to happen. Okay, so we're gonna wait a bit again. Just think through how was your day, etc. Okay, so there you go. This is a lot more effective blur. Okay, so you can kind of see the miniaturized effect at the moment, but to enhance this effect, we're gonna go to Vibrance. Okay, Vibrance under Adjustment tab, right? So under Vibrance, we're just gonna play with the setting. Okay, so if you put it up, you're just gonna get more of the color, right? And you can also put up the saturation a bit and kind of make that kind of a plasticky kind of feel, because that's how miniaturized models are made. So after that, it's a little too vibrant, so I'm just gonna double click on this and lower that a bit more. And there you go. So that's the tutorial. If you have any questions, you know where to find me.